Polish Netflix film 365 Days This Day is a sequel to the problematic romance movie in which our main character Laura is given 1 year to fall in love with her mafia boss kidnapper. Luckily for her, she managed to pull it off in about 1 month before quickly getting pregnant and then targeted for murder. Clearly, this is a franchise that respects a woman's right to choose. Kidnapped, impregnated, or killed. Take your pick, ladies. But if you're lucky like Laura, you get all 3. And then you also get to get married in Italy. And also kidnapped again by somebody else. But that's not all. You'll also be subjected to more poorly translated dialogue, longer mind-numbing montages of luxury visuals, and a series of intimate love scenes that are so wild and intense, they'll awake a primal urge to scream and run away. Like when an early human ancestor encountered a cheetah. Sick, toxic love is truly in the air for this brimming with BDSM installment of Clip Breakdown. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies and TV movies and other such content here on the web. And we break it down like the psyche of our kidnapped victim into little clips. And we say, is this a good baby girl or is this a bad baby girl who needs to be punished? Oh my God, I forgot how bad the first 365 days was, and then people quickly let me know in the comments that it was part of a trilogy book series that only got worse, and you weren't joking. But before we get into it, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Also, don't forget to click that subscribe button, that way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week, and if you haven't already seen my breakdown on the first 365 days of movie, you can see a link in the description for that. The movie starts, and I assumed this was some sort of dream sequence because it's so disconnected from how the last movie ended, which was with Laura and her best friend mysteriously entering a tunnel after her just admitting to her friend that she's pregnant, and they were followed by an assassin. I assumed she was dead, but there's a sequel, so she's alive. And it seems like we glossed over a good chunk of action there.
I want to drown in your eyes. Look at us now. No,
I don't have panties.
Enough.
Well, that's on you for not packing properly for this trip. I don't want to hear your inner dialogue about it. I'm not sure how you didn't realize something was a little off balance when you left for the airport carrying a suitcase of just bras. Now here we are. You're kissing a hot guy and all you can think about is that fresh ocean breeze on your vagina. The new fragrance by Glade. Also, you'll notice the soundtrack for this movie heavily features less expensive songs from unknown vocalists that kind of sound a lot like popular artists. Tell me this doesn't sound like if Ed Sheeran suddenly forgot how to sing in English.
I'll never leave you again. 'Cause when I'm with you, it feels like home again.
Did he just rhyme the word again with again? He was like, you have such beautiful eyes, such beautiful hair and eyes, your eyes and your hair, so beautiful there, your hair and your eyes. That's my new single, Eyes and Hair, featuring Rihanna. And no, I haven't asked her yet, and no, I don't think she'll say yes, but I'm not changing the title. They start having intercourse on this table. If you didn't know from the first movie, it's basically softcore adult film type of stuff. You know, like they really want horny ladies watching this. But it's like, you could just watch real pornography at that point. Like, it's just the same thing, but without having to wear clothes. Also, I'm not sure if all these Texas Chainsaw Massacre sound effects are reading exactly the way the filmmaker wanted them to.
In your eyes.
Was that the outdoor table creaking under their weight, or did one of them just fart during sex? Either way, this sequel is already showing a lot more than the first movie. By that I mean more fully clothed on cold, rigid surfaces. This woman starts walking into the scene and I'm like, who is that again? I should have watched the first movie. Then I remembered it's Olga, the best friend of Laura, who is really supportive of her Stockholm syndrome. And we find out that we must have jumped forward considerably in the timeline because Laura's no longer on the brink of assassination. Laura and her survived in the tunnel somehow, and now it's the wedding day.
What the hell are you
It brings bad luck to see the bride before the wedding.
Are you jealous? If you want next time, you can join us.
He says this, and yet a threesome will never materialize throughout the entire movie. The softcore heterosexual kink on display here is truly uncreative. He's like, get ready for the raunchiest night of your life, baby girl, when I should unzip my fly and bang you with my belt still fastened. Boo! That's boring. I would actually be more impressed if they were into the farting thing. And if you think that's a crazy thing for me to say, wait until you hear the next thing out of Laura's mouth.
Ale Massimo nie może się dowiedzieć, że była w ciąży. Co mam zrobić, co? Powiedzieć mu, że w tunelu, w którym mało nie zginęłam, zginęło jego dziecko?
Ooh, yeah, you should say that up at the altar instead of I do. I hope it's not crass to say this, but your wedding guests have been waiting downstairs for 2 hours in the sun while you get railed, so the least you could do is bring the drama. And frankly, I think we would all like to hear the story of your tunnel baby accident, or whatever you want to call it, sorry. The point is, the first movie ended with Olga and Laura driving into the tunnel, being followed by the assassin from a rival mob family. And now we're supposed to just guess what played out after that and how it ultimately led to the loss of Laura's unborn child. Even though she's like, it was the hardest choice ever made. It's like, did you lose the baby or you had to give the baby up? Like, explain that. Did you have to sacrifice your own life for the baby? I want to know. Maybe it's in the book, but that, I'm not reading that book. And yet still, I feel like this movie owes us some explanation about what happened between the last film and Laura being suction cupped to the dinner table with her lower back and butt sweat. Also, Laura has this crispy yellow hair, fried whatever, blonde hair. I tried to say something nice and I was like, dried spaghetti, burnt ass. No, her hair looks fine. It's blonde and then it changes to brown after the wedding. And this happened in the first movie. Like, there's several hair changes that they just kind of write in being like, your hair's different. And it's like, yeah, why? Give her a wig if you're shooting it over the course of 19 years. Oh, and I also remembered right away why this movie was nearly 2 hours long. It's because of these self-indulgent long montages of drone footage and weird music.
Am I fool that I love you? I just hope I will make it up.
Let's run away from all this mess.
That was like if they had artificial intelligence write a fragrance commercial for Giorgio Armani. Smell all this ocean, buttercup. I will drown you in my love. Like, what? Okay. They're on the coast of Italy though, so we love that. Oh, and now that he's made an honest woman out of her, one of the weirdest phrases ever about getting married, I'm not gonna be honest just because I start getting married. That's actually gonna give me more reasons to lie, more likely. Sarcasm and jokes. It's just sarcasm and jokes. Anytime I get in trouble with the law, it's just sarcasm and jokes. Anyway, now that they're married, we see that they're about to step up their sex life even higher to a hotter hot plate.
No. I'll do whatever I want with you.
Reflection of the fruit.
It's a lot of fingers you got in your mouth there, Beth. She's like, sorry, I felt some of my dental work coming unglued back there, and I would hate to lose a porcelain crown in your bush. Again, we never get to see Massimo's dick like we get to see Laura's boobs, so I just assume she's dining at an untrimmed Olive Garden every night. Sorry. That was actually disgusting. And there's a sponsorship for food later in this video. Let me tap the brakes. I'm probably making a big assumption there. I truly doubt Massimo goes every week to have his back waxed and just lets them completely ignore his pubes. See, it's not what you say about pubic hair, it's how you say it. And I'm drowning in your bush. So they have sex after, well, first like Laura sort of vibrates herself. That's not the term when you use a vibrator on she's vibrating herself in front of him. And that teases him. It teases him and gets him all shaken up. I hate this movie.
No. I want you to fuck me the way I like.
He said, you got it, babe. Hulk smash! I love the way her legs fly up when he tackles her. It's like, boom! She said, you better body slam me through that box spring so hard that my hip dislocates and I have chronic back pain until the day you accidentally kill me. Oh, the best man at the wedding was some guy. He's like the new best friend of Massimo. He had a different best friend named Mario in the first movie who is not in this one, and they wrote him out by being like, he wants to retire after the accident in the tunnel. Like, this fucking tunnel must have been super haunted. I don't know what happened in there. They're all scared of it. Massimo was like unable to reach them by the time the tunnel happened. I would have loved to have them flash back and it was like there was a shootout in the tunnel, but we don't know. Anyway, the best man is sort of gonna be the love interest for Olga, who, spoiler alert, also gets her derailed in this movie. Why? Wow, they really weren't doing Olga any favors with this lighting or camera angle, were they? Can we get harsher lines under those eyes? We really want her to look like a sick person wasting away in the tub with a face full of orange makeup on. I'm not makeup shaming necessarily, but I'm just saying when I wear that much bubble bath bronzer, I like to pair it with a little bit of bubble bath blush. Bubble bath blush. I'm not trying to look like Jean-Paul Marat if he got, you know, assassinated with a bad spray tan. Yeah, that's right. I know what certain paintings are. So suffice to say, Laura and Massimo are on their honeymoon. And what do two sex fiends do on their honeymoon? Sex fiend it up even in different rooms more.
How do I look like?
Like the first time, baby. Like the first time, baby. Like the first time, baby.
I've noticed you won't catch Massimo laying down in this movie unless he's got one hand behind his head with the elbow extended, which is the default pose for all men who call themselves models on Instagram. This is how I used to have to wait for my prescription deodorant to dry, which I eventually, of course, thought I didn't need anymore. That's why anyone who comes within 10 feet of me can tell that my armpits are off their meds. If you take me golfing on my honeymoon, it's over. It's over on sight. I'm talking execution style. I'm just kidding, not murder. Girl, you better hope he's not taking you to a driving range for your birthday. He's gonna punch a hole right through your pubic bone and then still expect you to have sex later, I bet. They have a caddy off to the side who's like, I would love to recommend the proper club for that, but I'm not sure what the fuck is going on. All I know is the patch of grass underneath her is starting to yellow. This is her first time out of the compound since she got kidnapped. You know her vaginal secretions are acidic from the multivitamins they have to take as prisoners. I just made up a lot of shit. I said a lot of made up shit just now. Olga and Tolga, what is her beau's name? Olga Domenico. Olga and Domenico, they have I guess a little more vanilla sex life than the BDSM, no safe word realness that Laura and Massimo are doing every day. Olga's like, I don't need chains and whips to excite me. I just need some yeast infection. Oh, sorry, that was just footage of me enjoying my birthday cake pancakes from Denny's. I refused to leave until they let me lick the whole booth clean. That's how I got Hepe. This is like the second time in the movie where people walk in on this like intense lovemaking scene and they're like, you rascals. It's like, I don't want to see my best friend get fucked inside of a jar of maraschino cherries. Do this in your bedroom. And there's drama afoot because Massimo seems to be really preoccupied with work, even though I'm like, his job seemed really hands-off in the first movie as like a mafia boss. He was like, kill him, take her to my dungeon, you know.
Domenico I needs to focus on work. Of course, when he's wearing a normal suit and not, where is that, a cake or something? That's
me scolding Katy Perry's creative team after the 2009 MTV Latin America Awards.
La más tierna de las criaturas llega con...
It's only through the magic of live television that you can see a huge crowd cheering for an injured Katy Perry as she crawls off stage in a pair of American Apparel shorts that she just fucked up. She probably had to soak in a warm bath before she could pull those off. Oh, the cake thing and the whipped cream later on. That's the food and sex thing to me. I don't even like having melted ice cream on the back of my hand. Now you want to put it on my asshole? Now you want to melt ice cream on this asshole, mama? Well, I won't let you because we're dairy free at this farmhouse. Oh shit. I'm the problem. I'm the problem with this video. Go figure. So Laura and Olga are out gossiping about how he feels bad that Massimo didn't even get to enjoy this trip because they had to work, even though we as the audience didn't get that information until that little piece of exposition. So she's like, I'm gonna go home and impress him with my strappy bra, hee hee ha. And the next morning he is like, that was great f***ing, but now I need to go to work at the mafia store.
It's very late. I have to leave. We're back to our normal life, baby girl. Aren't we?
Maybe you are, Mr. Mafia Man, but she hasn't been back to normal life, baby girl, since you kidnapped her a year ago. All because she looked like the woman in a painting you had. You're the one who f***ed her into a state of Stockholm Syndrome. What do you want her to do now that the honeymoon's over? And what sort of daily responsibilities does he have as the leader of a mafia family? In the first movie, he would just give orders, but now he's acting like he's late for his shift at the US Cellular store. Olga and Domenico are making love in the bathroom. The sex is gratuitous, but even in its gratuity, it continues to be bland and unexciting. And that's not just because I don't care for heterosexuality, okay? I think even a heterosexual person would be like, this just all looks a little bit like there's not a lot of privacy in this huge house. That's where I'm at. The girls hit the town to get away from their men. Laura continues to grow frustrated with her marriage, even though I don't know if it's been 1 or 2 days or what, but things took a turn real fast. She doesn't know why. She hasn't let us know why. She won't tell her friends why. She's just mad. But anyway, let's forget about that and just drive around the countryside in our Ferrari.
We got nothing to lose, so come on. I just wanna have some fun tonight.
Such a fun song. You know, it might sound a little bit like Dua Lipa, but it's actually Dua Lipa's close distant relative, Chupa Dupa. Although due to a little copyright scuffle with the lollipop brand Chupa Chups, she will be credited in this movie as Cheese Chalupa. Still good though. Wanna have a fun tonight. These are the weirdest best friends I've ever met. I'm like, you girls need a little bit of counseling.
Ile wtedy miałyśmy lat? 6?
Ty już wtedy miałeś posypane na talerzyku.
Błagam cię, wtedy to była galaretka w proszku.
Jadłyśmy ją palcem i jeździłyśmy na wrotkach, pamiętasz?
Imagine telling your best friend that she was training to be a coke fiend since age 6. I think I'm experiencing culture shock about what it's like to grow up in Poland. Also, I don't know why, but the mental image of 2 little girls scraping powdered jello into their mouths with their fingers is making me feel sick. Maybe it's because of what Laura was doing earlier. Eat that lime gelatin dust, baby girl. Olga and their reminiscing is helping her forget about the failed marriage that's ruining her life. Does Olga just live in Italy now? What is up?
Szczerze? Wolę opcję 20 lat później.
Okay, I guess the women are 26 years old in this fantasy film. I'm not saying either of them look elderly, but even Olga's fake eyelash strips are at least in their 30s. And the only way Laura is 26 is if that guy in the tunnel tried to kill her with a time machine. But whatever, 26-year-olds, I guess. Me too, me too. Laura and Olga are at dinner, a really nice looking dinner. Private chef, corn on a cob. And then stupid Massimo comes and starts a yelling.
I said, we're living.
Olga said, you know I'm not into that submissive, dominant power play. Fabrizio from Titanic. If you yell at me like a dad, you can find someone else to drizzle agave syrup on your taint. Capiche? Oh, I'm sorry, do you not speak Italian? Taint is like slang for perineum. Although I'm pretty sure that word has Latin roots, so I'm not sure what you're referring to. Let's just keep watching the movie, capiche? I despise how this movie constantly downplays Massimo's criminal and controlling behaviors, or has him justify them as his desire to protect his wife. What is that? In case it's not clear, this type of romance in this movie is not normal behavior for someone who loves you. And frankly, this type of narrative is harmful, especially when 60% of women in Poland have experienced some type of domestic abuse. That's according to an 88-page study that leaked back in 2020 because the government, for some reason, failed to publish those those troubling findings so that anyone could act on them. If you or someone you know is the victim of domestic or romantic partner abuse, speak with someone today by calling the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233 or text START to 8878. I think we just have to throw out how problematic this whole plotline continues to be in its unironic depiction of abusive behavior as a expression of love.
You've kidnapped me, and this is sick. But I fell in love with you. You cannot control people, and I won't let you control me.
I don't want to control you, I just want to protect you.
This is not protection. This is prison.
Oh, I thought it was a photo shoot for the Sunglass Hut. I'm at the wrong location. Can I borrow someone's phone who has Uber downloaded and also their credit card to pay for an Uber? I'm so not getting hired as a production assistant for the next one.
I can't live without doing anything. I miss challenges.
I read that this might happen in an article called 10 Signs That Your Concubine Might Be Ready to Start Her Own Little Online Business. It's great to see how much Laura has changed since the first movie. She's no longer weak and vulnerable to human trafficking. Now she's weak and vulnerable to be recruited into a multi-level marketing scam. Massimo's like, I heard your request for a little more free will, so from now on, you'll be a certified Beachbody coach who harasses their Facebook connections to lose weight. It'll be your way of continuing my cycle of abuse. But no, Massimo apologizes and like, I really messed this up, baby girl. And I'm like, that is what so many abusive partners say to get their partners to continue to trust them. And that's one of the reasons why it's so hard for victims of domestic violence to leave relationships that are bad for them, because there's an untold amount of psychological torture that builds up to that person feeling like they have no sense of self or self-worth. It's not cool to see it play out like this. You can sort of tell that this is a Polish writer's interpretation of Italy because the only food you'll see anyone eating throughout the movie is spaghetti. Believe me, I've had entire months where that's all I eat, which is why I'm so grateful for the sponsor of today's video, Every Plate. If you're looking for more bite for your buck, then you're going to love Every Plate because it's the best value meal kit in America. And it gets even better because I've got a discount that you won't want to miss in a moment. Did you know that using Every Plate to cook your meals is 25% less expensive than grocery shopping? Every Plate's pre-portioned ingredients are high quality and they reduce food waste, helping me save the money and the environment. There was a time where I had sworn off all of these meal kit services because they were so expensive I just couldn't justify it. But then I found Every Plate and it is truly the best value I've seen for the same quality food. And now you can get even more out of every Plate delivery with cool extras. There's Vanilla Delight cheesecake, sweet kale salad, garlic bread, and protein bundles. Great ways to enhance any Every Plate meal. Look at me whip up these flautas. They were so delicious, completely plant-based, and much better than something I would have ordered. I find cooking a meal helps me separate work from home from living from home, and I love eating fresh, healthy food that I've prepared myself. So, try Every Plate for just $1.79 per meal by going to everyplate.com and entering code DiRamio179. So slurp down your spaghetti and let's get back to the Italiano kitchen. Does even Laura love her husband? Because the second this hot gardener named Nacho, his nickname is Nacho. Whew, I hate this movie. The hot gardener has her drooling from upstairs and down within minutes of Sunset meeting him. So that's not gonna be great. Oh, and all of a sudden, it's goddamn Christmas in Narnia.
Children singing soft and sweet, knowing there are presents on the way.
That's not a real holiday song. That's just some Ariana Grande flavored store brand songwriting. And I'm gonna light that tree on fire if I have to sit through one more full length musical montage this Christmas Eve. You two kids stop crying or Santa's gonna beat. Sorry, I hate to be the Grinch who gatekeeps Christmas music, but this soundtrack makes me feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone, which was a TV show from the 1960s, back when it was okay to verbally threaten child actors. It's not my fault that tears of genuine sadness leave a better sheen on the face. Singing joyful tinsel box, tissue paper on the rocks, hot chocolate is steaming in your mug. Girl, that's that's not Christmas. That's Christmas in the upside down. But Massimo has a great present, a great condescending present.
Congrats. You're the owner of your own clothing company. I know that you love work, and I want you to be free to do what you love.
Perfect. Who told you she loves being the manager of a retail clothing store? I'd be like, what? Thank you so much. And I'm just curious, is it like hard to transform a clothing company into a self-serve frozen yogurt stand? I don't remember what Laura's career was way back before she got kidnapped. And either way, I think it was her stereotypical love of revenge shopping that is supposed to make us believe fashion and clothing is what she always wanted to do with her life. And that's why she's advancing to the ceremonial cleaning of her husband's ear canal.
I wanna be with somebody like you.
Massimo's like, I think you're forgetting that you just ate like 7 different types of seafood for Christmas Eve dinner. Feels like I'm a SeaWorld trainer getting kissed on the cheek by a seal. I'm just kidding. The traditional Italian Feast of the 7 Fishes was actually invented by Americans, which makes sense. That's why it's disgusting. 7 different types of seafood in one night. Oh, all cause some friends of the Pope needed us to scarf down more of the excess fish they were depleting the oceans of. And suddenly it's super duper godly and Catholic of you to stuff your face hole full of fish salad and clam chowder every Sunday until your heart solidifies. Anyway, do these two want to send the like young niece and nephew to bed before they start having obvious foreplay in a chair next to their parents? Olga and Domenico get engaged at this Christmas party too, and I'm like, so it really must be months and months of time going by. I didn't even know they really liked each other. I thought they were just friends with benefit type of deal. It was really important that they take a full minute out of this 2-hour movie for a scene where Massimo shows his penis to the sky for some reason. This is supposed to be like a replay of the dungeon sex scene that was sort of the iconic moment of the first movie, even though the visuals still feel very stolen from 50 Shades of Grey.
Don't get me wrong, but I don't like promises.
She has another pair of those me cuffs, except they say shellfish allergy for when they go out to restaurants. I feel like they really wanted to show off the gold lettering on those things, but it took a really long time for those words to look like anything other than Tex-Mex to me, which doesn't exactly scream out, let's have adventurous sex tonight, for most people. They basically needed to set up a huge white silk with just a hole in it for the camera lens to shoot through if they wanted to like give that big white reflection on the letters that would make them legible on the black leather. It's sort of like how they would shoot a really reflective surface for a beauty product or perfume bottle or even like a car. You really want those big, large bands of white highlight that help show dimension on the product. And they did not do that here. That's why I'm like, what does that say? Okay, sorry, you. Me? No, you. They have thrusty sex. I feel like the actor who plays Massimo is like, don't worry, if there's one thing I can do, it's hump realistically. It's like, I don't even think you can do that. Next up, it's time for Laura to take over her clothing company, which seems like the set of Gossip Girl. They have a lot of those reflective mannequins and painted black walls. Oh, and Laura still doesn't want to talk about what Massimo is doing to piss her off. And I don't know why. It's basically, oh, in bed after the last scene, he let slip basically that he doesn't have no family, he has a brother. And she's like, you have a brother? Why don't you tell me? And he's like, I don't want to talk about it. So that's what's pissing off Laura now. And she's getting tense at different events, being like, you talk to everyone but me, and you like your mafia boss friends more than me. And I'm like, yeah, and that's why you need to shut up, because he's gonna kill you. All Laura seems to want now, all of a sudden, is the type of marriage her parents have. What is this enchanted feather dance at Cinderella's castle right now? And okay, all of a sudden Laura wants this type of tender, loving romance like her parents have. Well, your parents would just like you to calm more quickly after you decide to continue living in Italy to keep having choke sex with your mafia boss body snatcher. She's like, Mom, how do you and Dad keep your romance alive? And the mom is like, well, for starters, he respects me as a human being and not property, and he doesn't f me like he wants me to die all the time. Also, Also, when I first met your father, I wasn't under duress at his castle. That somehow is a downsized apartment in this movie. The locations aren't the same. The interiors aren't the same. I'm just saying. Laura is feeling very stressed about her relationship with Massimo. She looks up and sees him in the balcony being pulled away by this woman who we've known was up to no good since the wedding when she was gossiping about the bride. She seems to be like the head of a rival mob family. So naturally, Laura follows the two of them to see what her husband is up to. Uh-oh, she's entered the haunted mansion section of her hotel. They said, this is the blue light district. Only come here if you're having an affair. So when Laura opens the door, she sees Massimo having intimate affairs with that woman who was seducing him. Or at least that's what her eyes are telling her. So she runs out of the building, only to be stopped by a handsome gardener.
Laura, do you feel okay?
Get me out from here.
I'm not victim blaming, but if you recall, Laura, this is exactly how you got kidnapped in the last movie. Remember? Running away from a cheating boyfriend and into the car of a suspiciously hot Italian man? Was it your childhood dream to wash up on a beach somewhere? Isn't she even curious why this guy is gardening at 9:30 p.m. during their fancy party? He better be up on that roof tending to some evening primrose or something, otherwise you just know he's lurking around this sometimes castle trying to stalk Laura. Trying to get a whiff of her pungent corpse flower. Sorry, I just made myself nauseous. From the car, Laura calls her parents and are like, I never want to see Massimo again. I'm fine, I'm just running away for a few days, and then throws her phone. And it's like, girl, stop absconding. That's when you're vulnerable to kidnapping. Whatever. Girl. Laura's mom is mad. Apparently, she knew Massimo was no good. Maybe she mentioned it in the first movie, and I forget, but I don't remember saying it in this film. Probably could have used a reiteration of that, right? The movie is really not self-contained enough. They give me weird expository information in some scenes when it's like, you could have just showed that in the previous scene when it was supposed to happen, but whatever.
We are going back to Poland. Don't try to stop me.
Did it somehow seem like anyone was trying to stop you, Mom? Because from a screenwriting perspective, you could live or die and it would be the same movie. What is your contribution to this movie, Ben? Dancing in a ballroom with a feather like it's Masterpiece Theater on PBS? You should have staple gunned an Apple AirTag to that daughter of yours after the first time she went missing. Because apparently you forgot to instill basic survival instincts into her as a child. I wish that all of the characters weren't so passive in this movie. For example, the mom could be out looking for a Laura and then the mom is somehow in danger and that's what draws Laura over to the climactic scene rather than someone we never see just picking her up and dropping her off everywhere. And like these random B, C, D, and E stories make no sense. Like now she's at Nacho's big villa that he says belongs to his dad and then his sister comes over who's pregnant and she likes Laura, they become friends.
I can see that your brother takes care a lot about you.
Yeah, to the point where it's causing me emotional discomfort. He just tenderly sucked the lint out of his sister's belly button. Even her unborn baby was just in the uterus being like, bro, can you chill? Massimo attends a dinner with that femme fatale of the rival family. And she's like, you should get over that non-mafia lady, some random shop girl from Poland, and join forces with me. We would be indestructible together. And that's when Massimo's like, I had a feeling Laura didn't leave on her own and now I know you were involved and I'm gonna figure out how. So he's on the case. He's never once intimidating. I wish that he could show some type of force or scare her into being like, oh my God, we have to change the plan. And then I wish that that pressure caused her to like escalate and, you know, all of a sudden Laura is in more immediate danger instead of thinking that she's just on some island with her hot gardener.
Ho detto che non avrebbe funzionato, che avrebbe capito tutto.
Io la mia parte l'ho recitata in modo perfetto.
E mica sa che Massimo, fratello gemello.
First of all, how do you know what she knows, Esmeralda Ponytail? Massimo could have divulged to Laura any number of family secrets during one of their honeymoon BTK lovemaking sessions. In fact, he did tell her that he had an estranged brother, but then he suddenly felt too uncomfortable talking about it to also say that he was a vengeful twin who might try to trick her. Seems like that info only could have helped keep Laura more safe, which was supposed to be the goal of all these controlling tactics, right? It just proves what we already knew. 9 out of 10 kidnappings could be prevented if straight men were raised to not be too fucking stupid to talk about their feelings. Aren't you all tired of attacking women who have the same hair color as your mom and your girlfriend who broke up with you? God, go to therapy, Brad. The rest of the group, Olga, Domenico, and a very angry looking Massimo are eating spaghetti, as they only ever do. Massimo is so invested in getting his girlfriend back that he's sitting there like this. Like, don't you want to do something? This is supposed to be the hero that we all swoon over. He's literally just sitting around while Laura is in the arms of his enemy family. Well, she's actually in the arms of Nacho, who we have a feeling is involved, but he hasn't said so specifically. They do have some sex outside at the fire. And then that night, there's like a guy breaking into Nacho's house who he kills. Or maybe doesn't kill, but seemingly does. And then the next morning, she's like, what was that last night? It's like, you didn't ask him later that same night what that was? And he's like, don't worry about it, I took care of it. I'm like, I'm a little worried about it. Was that someone from Massimo's family? Like, we don't know what that was. I'm so mad about it. It would have been cool if he like went inside and she pulled his mask up and saw that it was one of Massimo's henchmen who could have been introduced earlier. And she was like, wait, Massimo's sending people to come after me? And then she has all these feelings about that. But no, we don't get any story or writing, sorry. We just get them on the beach the next day, and she's like, I've never had beer before. It's like, yes, you have, shut up.
Any of those Polish girlfriends ever escaped from you?
Never.
Hold my beer.
No sé cómo fue. Yo solo quería.
He just watches her drown at sea. He said no one ever escapes, sweetheart. What are you trying to do, swim to Poland? That's stupid. It's no wonder you think every human rights violation you experience is just a fun, sexy new leg of your Italian vacation.
I'm not sure I understand.
There could be a man fully holding a gun to her head, and in her mind, she's having a Roman holiday, like it's the Lizzie McGuire movie. Well, guess what, Laura? Nobody's seen or heard from Lizzie McGuire in years, and she's presumed dead. But sure, go ahead, run off to remote locations with exotic strangers. Leave your passport behind. Have your dental records destroyed. After all, it's your vacation-napping. Laura truly doesn't understand that she's being held there against her will, even when she sees Nacho having side dealings with these shady characters while she's distracted by girl talk and lunch with Nacho's sister. And their romance grows deeper. Nacho even teaches her how to surf. Meanwhile, Massimo and his guys are ready to move in on her somehow. They found her and they're going after her. I don't know how, none of that is explained. I don't think anyone knows what they're writing in this.
What happened with the trust you gave me?
Yeah, listen, I don't care how many tattoos you have on your biceps or how much fertilizer is under your fingernails. You better get your face out of my first thing in the morning. That is not the continental breakfast I am looking to serve right when I wake up on a Saturday. Anyway, that was just a dream sequence of cunnilingus, if you will. I don't know why you have to, but I said it. It was just a dream, but Nacho was like, you are dreaming sex about me? And she's like, yeah, but whatever.
I just came to tell you that food is ready.
Ooh, sorry, there's no make-your-own Belgian waffle bar here. That's why Nacho decided to serve up spaghetti with wine and orange juice for breakfast. Laura's like, okay, that's a very heartburn-focused way to start the day. I'm definitely gonna end up puking on this guy's dick later, but whatever. This is so confusing to me too. Oh, I'm about to get mad. I'm about to get mad. I need a break. So after they eat their spaghetti, Nacho is like, we're going to meet my father and Massimo will be there. And she's like, what? Who are you? And he's like, I'm the son of this Don who is the eternal rival of your husband's family. And I took you here because I would have gotten here one way or the other because you're our hostage. And she's like, oh my God, I literally am always a hostage. But he's like, no, the way I feel about you is real. And she's like, good, because I tend to fall in love with whoever is in me at the moment. Seriously, I don't know if we're supposed to just accept Laura as this sort of imperfect character, which is fine, but wasn't she so devoted to Massimo, who now we know is completely innocent of cheating on her? He had a twin brother who was confusing her. So she kind of cheated on her husband for no reason, and her loyalty was not proven by this, test. Anyway, this rival mob boss is telling Massimo, I think it's time we kill you and put your brother in place of the family. He's stupider and can whatever. I guess this is his mob boss? Yeah. His mob boss? I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but they're like, we should have put your brother in charge and not you. And I'm like, well, you're from a different mob family, so why are you even in charge of that? And Massimo's like, you will never get away with this. And they're like, well, whatever. Laura's in a car with our most trusted bodyguard, Miguel. And then Nacho, who's in the room, is like, wait, no, she went with Enrique? And they're like, ugh. So that's when Nacho and Massimo both walk down the hall side by side, teaming up to find the lady they own. And I guess we never see the actual kidnapping in these movies. I don't know if that's supposed to make it seem less brutal that she's kidnapped, but to me it just makes it seem like she's just walking wherever people tell her, because she literally is suddenly standing in the middle of this empty room and it's like, where did you just come from? Where did you just go? Where did you just come from, Cotton Eye Joe? But out comes the brother of Massimo, who is his twin.
You are not Massimo.
I've been power struggling with him for the last 5 months, and he would never wear cheap blue eye contacts from the fashion district, not while abusively holding me by the wrists. There were 2 different ways they allow us in the audience to tell the difference between Massimo and his twin brother. One is the eye color, and the other is the twin brother definitely has a more kind of coked out appearance where he's a little more erratic. You can tell he's crazy. He killed one of the henchmen for delivering an unsatisfactory message. And then right away at the perfect time, I don't know how they found her. They don't care to explain any of that. But either way, in comes Massimo and Nacho, and there's a standoff. Also, we knew from the beginning Laura did not want to tell that the assassination attempt is what caused her to lose a pregnancy, because she knew that would cause a vendetta, and it would be an all-out mob war that would break out because of it from Massimo, who always holds a grudge. And now the secret is no longer sacred.
Sometimes I wonder if your child would have looked more like you or like her. It's a pity that we will never know because of the accident.
Well, sometimes I wonder why this twin brother is talking like Dobby the house elf.
My precious.
That's Gollum. Who cares? Also, how did the twin brother find out that Laura lost the baby before her own husband did? She was the only one who had that information after the accident, so what? It would have been cool if she had confided in that to Nacho while they were having a romantic bonding session during one of the things, and then she's like, Nacho, you've been selling my secrets type of deal. But either way, she's like, oh, you told him about my baby? Let me go. And then she runs away, and it's like, that was the dumbest thing you could have done. Laura is a little impulsive. She said so herself in this movie, and it's to the point where it's like she doesn't value her own life.
Are we damned? We almost lost it.
I'm sorry, did she just get shot in the liver, or is she doing the color run? Mama must have been real dehydrated, because her organs just exploded into protein powder. Did none of her captors think to put out a bowl of water for her between the last 2 movies? If there's one thing I can't stand, it's irresponsible pet owners. I'm being facetious, because human beings are not pets, and kidnapping is not love. Again, don't let movies and TV normalize obsessive controlling behavior as some type of love. Both of these men that Laura's been riding up on every night are only out to use her for some political gain or put her life in danger. No, it's not it. Nacho is about to shoot Massimo, but then doesn't. He's like, you know what? We up your family enough, even though we're mortal enemies, and it would literally end the trilogy if he could just kill him right there. He runs off. I'm like, are you in the mob or not? But I guess he loves Laura, and I'm sure that will come up in movie 3, which I will no doubt cover, even though these are the most mind-numbingly dull, while also aggressively toxic and harmful movies I've ever come across in the history of these whole clip breakdown, you know what I mean? So anyway, don't check this one out, but go ahead and give it a thumbs down on streaming platforms if you don't mind, and send the message to Netflix that this is not the type of content we should be exposing people or any international audience to. What do you think of this whole shebang? Would you ever watch 365 Days this day, or are you good? I think you're good. Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more kind of Eastern European movies. We did this horror movie once that was really funny. Let me know if there are others like this. Also, don't forget to click that subscribe button right over here. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week, so turn on notifications if you always want to be the first to know when I upload a new explosion of your liver into dry powder on me. Also, don't forget I've got merch and a Patreon available where you can access exclusive bonus episodes, virtual watch parties, and fun exclusive mailers. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you for being kidnapped with me and getting Stockholm Syndrome. You guys are all the greatest. I will see you next time.